There are literally a million options for gloves out there, so if you're trying to get into ADV riding and need some help and advice and direction on what to choose, well, I'm here to give you a hand. They don't call me Dork on the road for nothing. Dad puns are par for the course around here. As you can see, in my time as an ADV/dual sport rider, I have sampled many different flavors of gloves, although all of them seem to be black for some reason. And I know it can be difficult to sift through the myriad of options available out there, especially for new people getting into ADV and dual sport riding. So let me give you a rundown on what to look for in an ADV or a dual sport glove, and some recommendations for gloves that I've used and like quite a bit. This is the second in my ADV 101 series, so if you haven't yet, check out my video about helmets where I explain sort of the same things about that. Gloves are not the most important gear that we wear as ADV riders, but they are the piece of gear that probably gets used the most. When we crash, your helmet, it doesn't always hit the ground. In fact, it rarely hits the ground, but my hands hit the ground almost every time. So good gloves are important because it is the piece of gear that you will test most often and will have the most opportunity to help you be safe and or fail you if you get the wrong thing. What do we want in an ADV or a dual sport glove? Well, versatility and comfort, those are both very important things, and also safety. So on an ADV bike, we sometimes ride 8, 10, 12 hours a day. You want a glove that's going to see you through multiple types of conditions, but also be comfortable the whole day. You also need a glove that's going to protect you on the street, as well as be comfortable while you're riding at slower speeds off-road. So when you're riding in the summer, it's really nice to have like a mesh glove with really good ventilation, but in the winter, you know, a more insulated glove with some knuckle protection and waterproofness is more of a priority. Basically, with an ADV glove, we want to find a balance between on-road protection and off-road protection. So something comfortable that gives you a good feel on the handlebars, but that also has a full leather palm, and maybe even something like a palm slider, so that if you were to go down on the freeway on your way to your riding area, you're still protected. Also with hard armor on the knuckles, because we crash through branches and things like that pretty often while riding off-road, and you want to find the best balance of those two things in a way that makes it so that you can still be safe. One big advantage of gloves is that they're small enough and cheap enough that you can conceivably take two pair if you're doing two very different things over the course of a day or riding in two very different types of weather. So you can get yourself a decent street glove, wear it when you ride on the road, and the second you leave the pavement, just swap to your off-road gloves. That's an option that we have, at least with gloves, so keep that in mind. The most important thing to look for in an off-road or on-road glove, in my opinion, is a full leather palm. The fewer seams, the better, just because the weak point of gloves in a on-pavement slide is almost always the seams. The seams will rip apart. It's why I always cringe when I see people wearing those leather work gloves, because yes, the leather itself will hold up to a slide, but that doesn't matter if the seam immediately rips and there's no leather between your hand and the ground. So double stitching is very important to look for, and it's really easy to tell if something's double stitched because there's two lines of stitching. That is going to hold up much better in a crash. Even better than a double stitched palm is a palm that is one solid piece of leather, no seams to rip. This Climb Powercross glove is the best example of that I have here on the table. So keep an eye out for leather palms. You want double stitching. Some knuckle protection is good. When we go down on the highway, you want a lot of slide protection, right? But when you go down off-road, we crash onto pointy things like thorns, broken branches, sharp rocks, so you still want a lot of protection on your hands. It's why I don't recommend these motocross style gloves. Sometimes people will wear these off-road, and these are really designed for a motocross track because it's all about feel and a minor amount of protection for your hands. But this is not a leather palm, so if you go down on a sharp stick or a blackberry briar wearing those things, you're gonna regret it, versus all of these other gloves that have a full leather palm that's gonna protect you whether you're sliding down the freeway or crashing into a bramble thicket on an aggressive off-road ride. The other thing to consider with ADV gloves is touchscreen capability. We as ADV riders go really cool looking places, and I don't know about you, but I stop and take pictures a lot, and it is so annoying to have to take my glove off to work my phone to take a picture and then put everything back on and keep going, particularly if it's raining or something. When you're looking, consider touchscreen functionality, and if possible, put the glove on and try to work your phone, because a lot of gloves will say they have touchscreen functionality, but it's like if you press really hard, they just leave that part out. It doesn't actually have any capacitive touchscreen capability, or the leather's so thin that it sometimes works. So I recommend giving that a try, but touchscreen capability is definitely something to think about when you're buying an ADV glove. The other thing to keep in mind is that you do not need ADV gloves. You do not need dual sport gloves. Half the gloves on this table are just street riding gloves. They're just motorcycle gloves. They will sometimes tack on a bunch of extra features or make it look more ADV so they can upcharge you for the same product. So as long as your glove is comfortable and protective and you can wear it in the conditions that you're riding in, then it doesn't matter what the label says. So don't get locked into just buying ADV gloves. I have some examples of ADV gloves here, but best thing to do, in my opinion, is go to your local cycle gear or your local motorcycle shop, whatever, and just try on a bunch of different pairs of gloves. And if it meets all your criteria, who gives a crap if it's technically a street glove? Because I started with a pair of built Sprint gloves, and they were 30 bucks on sale, and I wore those on and off road forever, and they served me just fine. And those are not quote unquote off-road gloves, but they were very comfortable and protective, and I felt really good about using those gloves. So that's my recommendations for ADV gloves in general. Let's be a little bit more specific and talk about some gloves that I've used that I would recommend to you. And obviously I will put a link to every one of these pairs of gloves in the description for you, so check that out down below. I want to start out by talking about winter gloves. There's a few important considerations. If you're riding in the winter, you're probably going to want a dedicated set of winter gloves, but there are really two different types. There are just waterproof winter gloves. So this is a thin but fully waterproof glove from Racer. This is the Racer M-Top waterproof. So it's got knuckle protection, it's got leather, and it is waterproof. So if it's not cold, then a glove like this to just keep your hand dry is nice because there's less between you and the bars. You have much better feel on a non-insulated glove like this. If you have really good heated grips, you might be able to get away with something like that. But if it's cold, really cold, like anything below really 50, 45 degrees Fahrenheit, in my opinion, you're going to want an insulated glove, even with heated grips, because the backside of your hands will get really cold. So I've got a few examples of those here. The most budget-friendly one here is this MSR Cold Weather ADV glove. I've been using these quite a bit lately, so you can see it's a single-piece palm. It's insulated, but not crazy insulated, but it's warm enough. Also, waterproof gloves or winter gloves also often have this gauntlet, which goes up over your sleeve and keeps water from getting up your sleeve and down into your glove, which is nice. These MSR Cold Weather ADV gloves are the best value here on the table at 50 bucks for a winter glove. They're pretty warm, they're not the warmest. Moving up from there is the Scorpion EXO Tempest. This has hard knuckle protection. It has a double gauntlet design, so there's a waterproof inner gauntlet and an outer gauntlet. It's got a Velcro cinch here to really keep any water or anything else from getting down into your glove. And also, one thing I forgot to mention in the general section is it's got these vibration pads on the palm. It makes your hands much more comfortable and much less likely to go numb over a long period of riding with them on the handlebars because it doesn't translate the vibrations to your hands. This Scorpion EXO glove has also got rubber, so really grippy material here on the palm. It's well insulated. There's even armor on the individual fingers. This is a great deal and a great value as well. This may be the best value in off-road motorcycling gloves. This is the Climb Power Cross or Climb Power X Ross. Full leather palm. It's fully Gore-Tex, so this is the first Gore-Tex glove that I've mentioned so far today. It's got 3M insulate throughout, a goggle squeegee, and a bunch of other cool features. This is probably a $200 motorcycle glove, but it's only $100 because it's a snowmobile glove. So you can sometimes find better winter gear if you look at snowmobiling gear. Helmets the same way. I've also got the Racer Tour FHH. This is a $120 glove. I've fallen in love with Racer gloves this year. The second you put them on, they feel like that you've been breaking them in for a year. They fit so comfortably in a way that no other pair of gloves I've ever used has. Vibration pad on the palm. It's got some protection here. It's got a full gauntlet. It's a waterproof glove from Racer, and it's called FHH because it's 4 heated hand guards. So the insulation on the bottom of the hand is thinner, so it gives you better feel on the bars. And it's thinner because they assume you're going to have a heated hand guard underneath, but the back is still really insulated and it'll keep you warm and dry, even if you don't have full hand guards or anything like that. So if you have heated hand grips, not hand guards, was I saying hand guards? Something like the FHH here is a great option. That's a $120 glove. Now, if you're running like hippo hands and heated grips, you can almost get away with a summer glove, or at the very least just a waterproof glove like this one, all winter long. So keep that in mind depending on how your bike is set up. Summer gloves can be a lot thinner, and in fact you want them to be more ventilated. So look for things like a mesh back, or at least major mesh sections, or like this one's got mesh here around the palm, because you want airflow through your glove. So my current favorite summer glove is this Racer Rally. And again, it's that super supple, feels like it was made for my hand specifically glove. It's got the pads on the palms. It's got some TPU knuckle protection and full mesh on the backside. I wore these every day on the Washington BDR. So comfortable, very nice gloves. They have touchscreen functionality, and these are $90. So if you're looking for an amazing summer glove, this is my #1 recommendation. That's a little bit more than some people want to spend, but good gloves cost around $100, so that's kind of a thing. The Built Sprint gloves, if you're looking for an inexpensive summer glove, I think they're $40 retail normally. Those are the ones I wore for a long time. You can catch them on sale for $30 sometimes. That's a perforated leather, breathes pretty well. That's worth checking out. I don't think the leather is as good as some of the more expensive gloves. I don't feel as confident with it on the highway, but it's a decent off-road glove. Another lighter summer glove option I really like is the Climb to Car. Mine have walked away. I'm not really sure where they are. They have a decent leather palm, but they're really, really light and comfortable and give you great feel on the bars. That's more of a glove that I would wear on a full day of trail riding or a day when I'm not going to be on the highway much. But if it's super hot, they have just enough leather that I feel comfortable-ish riding with them on the highway if I need to. So that's a lower cost option to consider. Those are $40 gloves. Probably if I had to have one glove right now, it would be this Racer Mickey glove. It's got a palm slider on the bottom for ultimate street protection. It's got perforated leather, so decent venting. Thin glove, so it's got good feel. And probably the biggest endorsement, this is the glove that Harold from Giant Loop wears all the time on all of his trips. And that guy has ridden more off-road than anyone I know. So his recommendation carries great weight. So the Racer Mickey is worth checking out for an all-around glove. That's a $120 glove. A similar glove also from Racer is the Pitlane. This has got more mesh on the back, so if you ride in a hotter climate, you've got full mesh along here. And I also really like, although I haven't used them, the Climb to Car Pro. It's as comfortable and good looking as the regular Climb to Car, but a lot beefier, so you've got better street protection. And that is a $70 glove, which I recommend. So this video is already longer than I meant it to be, but that's kind of what to look for in an ADV glove and some recommendations for those of you that are looking for a place to get started. If you haven't yet, please check out the helmet video I made covering similar territory for new and intermediate ADV riders. And please subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, because this ADV 101 is going to be an ongoing series. Going to make a boots video, a jackets and pants video, maybe even an armor video. A few of you have requested that. So keep an eye out for that. If you got some information out of the video that was useful, please consider hitting the like button. That really helps make the video more visible. And do not forget to subscribe, because I'm the dork on the road and I want to be your internet riding buddy, and I'm better than your regular riding buddies because I come with a mute button. Thank you for watching, and as always, please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Excellent!